I believe that most people are just running from themselves, to be quite honest with you. They're running from parts of their past. They're running from parts of their shadow that they don't want to deal with, or that they don't want to see, or that they don't want others to see. And a huge part of art therapy, why it's such a powerful tool, is that it has this ability to grab you by the hand, turn you around, and make you say, look at me, look at yourself. It has a way of revealing who you are to yourself, all of your parts in totality, who you are right now, what you're going through in the current moment, what you've been through in the past, and who you want to be in the future, all in one space, all in one time, all in one painting or one drawing, you know? So it was never a question that art and therapy would be the avenue that I eventually would turn on. When I paint, there have been moments where, oh my gosh, I've cried when I was painting. I've been extremely angry and extremely upset. Or I'll just be, happy and flailing and dancing around the room and weightless and full of life. It became very obvious to me that this is how, each of us being vessels for something that the world needs. This is how I, as a vessel, as Nneka Osueke, in this present moment, in this present body, in this present time and space, this is how I'm used. This is what my vessel is for. Because I become so very vulnerable when I paint. Because in order for you to be used in a very powerful way, you have to become vulnerable. I was sitting with a client, and he was subdued teenage boy, typical stereotype of what you think a teenage boy would be. Just very nonchalant, just closed off, very hard to kind of crack into. And I was asking him about his family and about, the past, and he told me something, and I said, well, how did you feel about that? The typical typical therapist question. Well, how did you feel about that? And so he just kind of gave me a shrug and was like, it doesn't really bother me too much. I said, okay. So I had him do an art project. I gave him the directive to draw a house, draw a tree, I specifically said your family, and then draw yourself. So he did all those things, and I noticed something that was very interesting within all of the paintings. And I told him about it, and at this point I was just being very transparent with him, because it when I become transparent with my clients, it motivates me, and it makes me become transparent with myself. And so I said, it's very interesting looking at your pictures. The tree and the house are grounded. And I specifically said grounded. I didn't say on the ground. I didn't say in the ground. I didn't say attached to the ground. I said they're grounded. But the family and the self-portrait are floating. They're not attached to any kind of like foundation. And when he looked at all four of the drawings, it's almost like he had just discovered a new puzzle piece to this big picture that he was trying to navigate and trying to just make it through, And so going back to my own drawings of when my professor did that project with us, she said, draw yourself. And I drew myself. And then she said, draw a family. When you say draw a family, people usually draw the family that has been most impactful to them. And a lot of the times it's their immediate family. That's just, it makes sense, So I drew a family, but I drew a bunch of hands that were connected to each other. So like there was one hand that was holding on to another arm, and then one hand was holding on to another arm. They were all kind of linked in a way. But there was nobody behind the arms. There were no people. The arms were just attached to nothing. They were floating in the air. There were no faces behind the arms. When I looked at that, man, it really dawned on me that art is such a powerful tool when it comes to helping others heal, helping myself heal, and just the collective healing of any body of people, any community of people. shows you what you haven't dealt with and what you have dealt with, what you keep pushing down. It shows you what's trying to come up. It's showing you all of those things. That's why I say so many people are running from themselves, and art really has a way of stopping you in your tracks and showing you a mirror. And, you know, people say, oh, I'm done with this, or I'm over it, or, you know, they make these big, huge declarations about how they're over this particular thing, or they're done with this person, or they're done with being this way. You know, honestly, people are just trying to bullshit themselves a lot of the time. You know, you wouldn't have to make such a huge declaration like that if that certain thing wasn't affecting you still in some kind of way right now. Art shows me that I still have work to do.